On this episode of Put Up or Shut Up, we're combining two of the greatest things in my life, drag racing and tractor pulling. We're gonna do something that we don't think anybody's ever actually done before, which is to take two of the nation's best modified tractors, we're talking 6,000 horsepower machines, and run them heads up against each other. We're gonna do it on dirt, we're gonna do it on a 340-foot-long regulation pulling course, and we're gonna do it with a sled behind them. But we're adding the element of speed. Instead of trying to figure out how far past that 340-foot finish line you can go, you need to get there first. This is an absolute heads-up drag race. You know, tractor pulling started back in the 1920s, and it was really started by the tractor companies themselves trying to prove to farmers how much stronger their equipment was than the horses they were using. Well, over time, those farmers would spend endless hours in the fields thinking about how to make their stuff stronger, and in some cases, faster. Well, tractor pulling evolved into one of America's most popular motorsports. But it's always a singular activity, and that's what killed me about the sport. Not today. We're adding two tractors, we're adding a heads-up drag race, and we're gonna find out who's got the fastest tractor in North Carolina. So you've met the machines, you've met the background of the world of pulling. Now it's time to meet the drivers. Over here, Randy Davis, he's the owner and the driver of the Running Bear tractor. Keith Wason, owner and driver of the Super Bee tractor that's sitting right behind him. Fellas, we're going pulling today, but not in the way you've probably ever done in your career. You will have a sled behind you. We will be on a pulling course, but the object is not to go the distance, because you're gonna go the distance. It is gonna be a heads-up style drag race on a flag start. First man to the end wins. Thoughts?
Wow, it's pretty different than what we used to, but I think it'll be pretty fun.
You're a puller, not necessarily a drag racer, but reality is there's a lot of fine tuning, and getting the balance of this thing right is probably gonna be the key to victory, right?
Well, the biggest thing, you gotta be able to read the track, the dirt, and get your weight straight on the front end. You don't want your front end to come up too high.
So, Randy, do you make any setup changes?
We'd lighten the front end a little bit more so it'll pick the front end quicker in the hole. You're not gonna have as much weight coming on the sled, so therefore down at the other end, you don't have to weight it for the other end. Probably could change tire pressure a little bit.
You know, the tractors visually look pretty similar. You got a pair of Hemis on the front of them. Any advantage, disadvantage you feel like you have?
I don't think it's any advantage, disadvantage. You know, you're going into drag racing style, so you gotta get that launch, you gotta get that hole shot out the hole, and track conditions and weight and driver.
Absolutely.
Driver.
There's always a plot twist on this show. We're going drag racing. This is the ultimate drag race, put up or shut up style. So here we are, it's race one. You can hear all four engines running behind me. The way this is gonna work is easy. It's a heads-up drag race. First tractor to the finish line wins. There's gonna be a lane change each round. The sleds will stay in the same lane. Both tractors came across the scales. They weigh within about 50, 60 pounds of each other, so they're pretty much dead even as far as the weight goes. The real question here is who's gonna figure out the speed. The track is pretty dry. It's a hot day today, so the sun's taking the moisture out. A dry track can be dusty and a little loose. It's gonna be fun to watch this play out.